Hey guys, what is going on? It is me, BadShot Gaming YT, and today we are back with the Crew 2. Now, you might have seen years ago, I posted a couple of videos on the Crew 1. In both of those videos, I drove across the United States because that was really the only thing I could think of to do with the game, because if you take a look at the map, yes, that's how fast the map loads, you have the entire US available to you. Now, this isn't just some small map where, like, oh, there takes 5 minutes. No, that's a whole 30-40 minutes, depending on what car you're driving. That can be a long drive. It's a big map. Now, of course, there's not a whole lot to do in the entirety of the map, but a lot of these big cities are in and have a lot to do. So I've decided that this video, I'm going to do a race. Now, that race, as is tradition, is across the entire United States. However, yeah, no, there's not really anything else. It's just across the United States, again, for the third time on this channel. But the Crew, before we get started with that, the Crew 2 added, it added planes, helicopters, boats, bikes, not jet skis, pontoon boats, swamp craft. It added a bunch of stuff, but yeah, it's really like that fast to switch between vehicle. Like, I can switch to a boat right now and have time to switch back to a plane, then back to a boat again, then to a plane again, because that's what I can do in this game. Now, without further ado, let's just jump into it. Yes, I'm saying that literally because I can just jump into the race. But apparently, instead of that, I've gotten myself stuck in an alleyway of some sorts that I'm not entirely sure of how to get out of. But anyways, yeah, I'll see you at the race. Oh, the exit's right there. Never mind. Okay, I want to preface it by saying that races are interesting in the way they start. You go over here, you change the difficulty. I have it on the hardest difficulty because I want to, and you drive into this parking garage. From here, you drive through the parking garage to a second exit over here. Now, we were just in the open world, and if we exit out through here, we're back in the open world, except the racetrack is set up for us, and the racers are here. Now, my car, out of all the cars that we're facing against, should be the fastest. However, that doesn't mean I'm gonna immediately destroy them, because I'm not that good of a driver. But it means that I should be able to, prefaces should be able to win. As well, I'd like to preface this by saying I have already recorded this, but the entire audio sounded awful, and I just realized it after I finished the entire thing. So that's fun. Yeah, we'll head into the race, but we're 1% done after about a half a minute, so that tells you how long this race is going to be. And I think I'm just going to show you guys the whole thing, because, yeah, this is long-form content that I decided to make at 3 a.m. Now it's 4:30 a.m. But yeah, this is great. It's going to take an eternity for me to even be able to, you know, upload this and render it and everything, because I'm going to have to view over it a couple times and whatnot. But yeah, this is just going to be kind of more casual while I race this, because this race I've done a couple times before. I used to race it a bunch because it's the highest paying race in the game. It's 300,000. It's 30-minute long, so it's 100,000 a minute, which is 100,000 every 10 minutes, 10,000 a minute, which isn't too shabby if I do say so myself. Yeah, and it takes you across the entire map, so it's a great way of showing to people how this game is. Now, right now we are quite a bit of time ahead, but as I did with last race, I'm probably gonna mess this up a couple times and not be in first place the entire time. But that's okay. That is a-okay. Ooh, there's a deer in the middle of the road. That would have been bad to hit. And I'll just hit one of those barriers. But we've got Neil in second behind me, and Aaron and a couple guys behind that too. Now, those are all just AI. Why I know their names? Because I spent the last 30 minutes with them. Of course I know their names after recording for that long. Yeah, so we've been going for 2 minutes, but we're well into, like, Pennsylvania, and we're about to hit a little town called Puxatawny. You probably know this from its fame as the place where the groundhog is from Groundhog Day, both the movie and in real life. Puxatawny Phil. Now, I went through it, and I got confused last race because I didn't remember ever seeing that city, or town as it is. I don't ever remember seeing the town when I played, so I always just assumed that I spent like 20 minutes assuming that I didn't know where it was, and I've done the same thing I did last time, where I drove it off of a bridge, and now I'm stuck. So I'm gonna fall to last place, which is gonna be fun to recover from. So yeah, I'm not in last place, I'm in 7th, because someone got stuck back there. It's funny, because someone got stuck back there last race, too. We're gonna have to figure out who got stuck back there. Yeah, so if you guys want to leave a comment below, tell me how it's going. Have you guys ever been to across the US before? Yeah, look, we're in Puxatawny. That didn't work. That really didn't work. Oh, look, there's people there. You can hit. People jump out of the way when you get to them, but there's people there. But yeah, go through Puxatawny. Yeah. Like I said, if you guys have ever been across the US, leave that in the comments down below. Because that's a fun thing, because I have been across the US. I drove across it last summer, and oh, now I'm in last. There's Travis. I guess Travis was the one that got stuck. But yeah, I drove across it last summer from around New York to basically San Francisco. We stayed in San Francisco for a day after 6 days, and then we drove back for another 4 days. It was a 10-day long thing. It was fun. We, yeah. First day we stayed in the New York area. We saw a Yankee game at Yankee Stadium, even though I'm not a Yankees fan. And the second day we spent some time in Ohio, close to the Rock and Roll and Pro Football Hall of Fames. We went to both of those, starting with the Pro Football in Canton, Ohio. And it's funny because this was the day right before, or this was the day of the Hall of Fame game. This was when the first preseason game was, that exact day, which was pretty neat that it was the day that we were there, because it was completely coincidental. We had not known that it would be the first day until we were actually there, because, mind you, we went through this whole trip mostly unplanned. Hi Travis, bye Travis, or not bye Travis, maybe by me. We went through the whole thing practically without planning much of it. So yeah, and up and down and up and down and up again and down again and up again and down again and up again, or not, I'll just crash into some hay bales. Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed by this point, it's going to be a ramble fest, so feel free to head out, but it's going to be a ramble fest the whole way through. There's not much to say besides, like, talk about the crew itself. So the crew is the sequel to the first crew game. This is the crew 2. There's it's the same map basically, with some buildings removed because, like, I guess the owners of those buildings didn't want people flying planes into them, because there's planes in this version now. And I'm just gonna cut that whole section there. I don't normally do it because it's much slower, but I'm behind by enough that it'll help. Yeah, this is they removed a couple buildings, added a couple towns, did slight changes, but nothing too major was really changed besides the fact that now there's planes and boats and all those other vehicles. This has been constantly updated. They're adding cars still, even though this is at least a year, maybe 2 old. But yeah, this is the Crew 2. Would I suggest you get it if you like car games even in the slightest? Yes. Are there better car games? Yes. Are there bigger maps? Sure, I'm sure there are bigger maps in other games, but this is the biggest map in a car game I have ever seen. It has true like experience. Like 7 minutes. We're now only in St. Louis. We have the entirety of the US to cross, and the West Coast is much further spread apart, even in this game. And I'll just hit another car. This is going well. This is going just fine. 5 seconds behind the leader, and we're in last place again. But that is a-okay, because we can recover here. They all have to take their programmed corners, and we can just cut. I know that's kind of like cheap, but I really don't care. I recorded this, and it did not go well. But yeah. So we're heading into Chicago, which is where I spent the 3rd day of my road trip. The 3rd day we spent in Chicago, like I said, we started it off by going to the Bean, or the Cloud Gate as it's called. It's a cool thing, but the architect's kind of a weird person. He copyrighted a color, or bought exclusive access to a color called Vanta Black. I don't know if you've heard that story before. You may have had that story. He's the exclusive owner of it, so no one else can use it, and nobody likes him for that. So I think his name was Anish Kapoor, but I do not want to say for certain, as like I don't want to be slandering someone that doesn't actually have the thing. But not many people like him after he bought Vanta Black, because it's a really cool color, known as the blackest black. But yeah, we're in Indiana now, which we stayed just in Gary, Indiana the 2nd night, and we head into Chicago the 3rd night. In Chicago, we saw the Sears Tower. I'm never going to call it the Willis Tower. That's stupid. Nobody likes calling it that. But it's the Sears Tower. And we saw a Cubs game later that night. Again, even though I'm not a Cubs fan, because it's historic and it's the Cubs. Why would you not catch a Cubs game? So yeah, we went into Chicago, and that was the 3rd day, where we basically just spent the whole day in Chicago, and we drove out at the night, and slept at a rest stop in Iowa. Now there's, in Iowa as well, we slept at the rest stop for a couple hours, where we saw a truck that was just driving, missing a whole tire. It had the rim, but there was no tire. It was just metal. Now, we saw it leaving, and we made a bet. I say we, it was me and my father. We made a bet on how long it would or get stuck there, on how far we'd see it down the road when we saw it eventually. There's Chicago. We just left Chicago. We bet 10 miles, so we get up in the morning, and what do you know? 10 miles down the road, stopped on the side of the road, is a big rig that is missing the same tire. Now, I don't want to make any assumptions here, but based on the fact it was the same color, the same tire, the same location, I'm going to say it was the same truck. Okay, here we go, crossing the Mississippi. Now, I remember the bridge I drove to cross it in real life was much longer than that, and it says we're in Dakota now, even though we're in the Dakotas. But this is more of an Iowa-like location if we just came from Chicago. So we get out of the rest stop, like I said, and we end up pulling off to the side of the road because we're tired, and we sleep. But when we wake up, it's still dark out, and we see these flashing red lights off in the distance, which is kind of odd, because we're just like, what are those flashing red lights? We don't know. we're from a place that we've never seen those before. And it turns out, once the sun comes up, it's just a massive wind farm, which was really cool. But we just pulled off on the side of the road and we saw a wind farm. It was neat. Yeah, this was fun. So as we in this now we're in like what we'd actually consider Dakotas. Some satellites up there. Silver Hills. That's fun. Silver Hills, it's the Black Hills in real life, but I don't know if the Silver Hills is a place or if that's just a spoof on the Black Hills. I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't be allowed to use the term Black Hills, but who knows. This is the section that I'm not normally good at because turns, and I don't particularly go around corners very well. Yeah, this is basically, yeah. That would have been bad if I fell off there. We're about 40% done, and we're 13 minutes through, which is about on pace for what I was expecting. Some sharp corners here, but in a minute we'll be heading onto the highway, which is a bit I remember because it is kind of boring. But then the next bit after that I don't like at all. I don't know why, I just never really liked it. So we head onto the highway here, and the guys we are racing are not too far behind. But we are on the highway. There used to be a glitch in this game where you could ride on the barriers and you would not lose any speed. But now they fixed that, so it's like kind of realistic that you're gonna lose speed for riding on the walls. But that was how a lot of people set records on this. Speaking of records, I actually used to hold a couple of them. I got the game very early on beta, and a couple of those in the crew 1 there were miscellaneous challenges around the area that you could just drive through and start. Within the crew 2 those remain, but very little of them. They are not very common, but I did a couple of them, and I had the record on a couple of them before the game like properly came out, while it was still the not the open beta, but it was the early access for people who pre-ordered the game. And it was, yeah, I had a couple records. They didn't last very long. After about 2 weeks, none of them were there. I was still in the top 10%, but none of them were there. Nowadays, whenever I hop on this game, I tend to do one of two things. It's either this race right here, or a track down in Miami, where where I just have driven around and tried setting a world record on, which has been pretty fun because everyone's given the same car on it. It's just a stock car. It makes you drive a Mercedes SL 300, so that leaves everyone on an open playing field, except for upgrades and whatnot. Ooh, that was not a good hit. So it's just about upgrading the car, and I'm like 10 seconds from the world record on that, which sounds like a lot, and it kinda is, but it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm in like the top 1,000 in the world on that, at least last I checked. But yeah, we're coming out off to the end of the highway section. That could have been bad. I could have hit that. We're only a second ahead of the other guys. It doesn't look like I'm only a second ahead of the other guys. No, I can't find the other guys. That's weird. Maybe I'm 10 seconds. Because I should not be this far ahead of them on the hardest difficulty. But yeah, so we're 16 minutes in, and we are 48% done, which is pretty good, actually, if I do say so myself. These last couple minutes fly by, actually, because it's, I don't know, it just, they do. Now, right here, we're actually in the suburbs of Salt Lake City already. I know, like 7 minutes we were at St. Louis, now we're all the way at Salt Lake, because that makes sense. But yeah, so continuing my road trip story, as we are where we stayed fourth night, I think. Yeah, because the third night we stayed in Iowa, like I said. The fourth night we stayed in Salt Lake City. So that day was just a driving day. We drove through Cheyenne, Wyoming, which was actually, the downtown was really, really nice. If I do say so myself. It was pretty sweet, actually. Yeah, it was. We stopped at a steak restaurant. I think it was called the Wyoming Ribbon Chop House. I'm not entirely sure, but if you're ever in Wyoming or some places in Montana, go check them out. They're really, really good. So yeah, we stayed in Salt Lake City that night, and the next morning was the Bonneville Salt Flats, which was really fun, actually. It's just a plain area of salt, and it's a lot of salt, but you can drive your car on there at whatever speed you want, like the land speed records. If you guys don't know the land speed record, they run competitions at the Bonneville Salt Flats all the time, or not all the time, but cars that are attempting to break the record normally will do it on a track on the salt flats, because they are the largest flat area of like that you can actually do stuff on for in the country, really, that you can like actually just drive on and not lose too much speed. So that's what people do. They go to the salt flats to drive, and it's fun. The day we were there, actually, apparently we were there the same day that Dude Perfect was for a where they were doing a rocket launch, I guess. But yeah, see, now we're in downtown Salt Lake City, and if we head down this road at 200 miles an hour, it doesn't feel like 200 miles an hour. No, it doesn't feel like it, but we head down there, we take this turn, and we are out of Salt Lake City already, like that. Now, this is, if you come over to here, this Salt Lake does not look at all like the real Salt Lake, because the real Salt Lake has mountains nearby, is dry, and if you go to the other side of the Salt Lake, there are patches that connect you directly to the Bonneville Salt Flats, because they were once a part of the I think it's just called the Great Salt Lake. Actually, that's what the new one, it's called Lake Bonneville, sorry. That's what it is. And it was basically a prehistoric lake that was very large and covered like half of Utah. So that's what the salt flats are from, and so they should be right about here. But they're not, because the game is weird. They're much more north of us. So we come here at 290 miles an hour. You can see off in the distance is Viva Las Vegas. We're in Death Valley is what this calls it, but this is more the Great Basin, because Death Valley is, California, and Las Vegas is, Nevada. I thought that was a solid divider, so I had to cut over there fast. I guess not. Yeah, we're 62% done at 20 minutes. Now, mind you, we're 62% done at 21 minutes, but the world record is 24 minutes flat, and we are still 40% from finish, 37. So that really makes you think how much faster you can do this track in. Now, I'm a slow racer. I'm not great, but they're still way faster cars and people in this game. Now, I suppose because I haven't played this in forever, it's kind of fair. But yeah, now we're into Las Vegas, which is one of the slowest sections of this entire track, which is just straight here, and then we turn onto Fremont Street, and then we're out of Vegas. We don't actually go down the strip, but yeah, it's Vegas. I was there a couple times. We went through Vegas on our way back from, I think we were there the night after San Francisco, because we left San Francisco at like noon, and we left for headed south. We made it to about maybe 50 miles from Las Vegas, or from Los Angeles, where the suns began to set as we entered the Mojave Desert, and the temperature actually increased 10 or so degrees while as the sun went dark, which is pretty interesting. You wouldn't expect that at all. You really wouldn't. How far ahead are we? Jeez. 14 seconds. Normally I'm not this far ahead. That's kind of led for a boring race, but yeah, normally we end up 14, like, normally it's close. But like I was saying, yeah, I went to Las Vegas once in like 2010-ish, and once this summer. We go through the Mojave Desert, and we make it all the way to Las Vegas that night, which wasn't too bad a drive. You can see the Luxor Pyramid. You can see the light coming out of it from like 20 miles away. We were able to see it before we even entered Nevada. We were still in California when you could see it. Yeah. So that's Las Vegas. We were there twice, but it was fun. It was fun when we actually spent a week there and not just drove through. But yeah, on the way back we drove through. We drove past Denver. The drive back we didn't really stop anywhere besides St. Louis. St. Louis, we decided we were gonna stop for some barbecue and to go up the arch, which was pretty neat. We were only up there for like 5 or 10 minutes, but it's neat. Yeah. 9 seconds ahead now. We're losing them, or they're gaining on us. But yeah, we went up the Gateway Arch and we just drove home. It was 10 days. It was really fun. Now it says we're in Kings Canyon now, if you see it in the bottom right next to the map. Doesn't say it anymore. Now it's in High Sierra. But yeah, we're heading into some redwood forest in the rain. Now, interesting thing about the weather is that it's the same weather everywhere across the map. So if it's raining here, it is raining in Maine, it is raining at Niagara Falls, it is raining in Miami, it is raining in Texas. It's gonna rain everywhere, but it's just raining. Yeah. Yeah, that's how that works. But yeah, it's fun. So like you can get snow in this too. I'm surprised we haven't gotten any snow yet this time or last time, because last time again the audio was awful and it just didn't work. Yeah, 25 minutes. So someone has officially finished this 33% faster than I have, because we're at 75%, and 75, the opposite of 75% is or never mind, it is 1.3%, but I'm gonna end up explaining this and it's gonna be stupid. Gonna just go back on track, and we fall into second place. We lost those 14 seconds right there. But yeah, because we're 3/4 of the way there. 4/3 is 1 1 1/3. So yeah, they were 133% faster than us. Or not 133% faster, but they were 133% our speed. Now we're still miles ahead of the other guys, but it's gonna be fun catching up to the leader here because he's so far ahead. But after these mountains, it's basically just a stretch of straightaway road to get to the finish line. Yeah. So this track, like I said, I've done it multiple times before, but it's fun. I don't know why, but doing these long and tedious things is fun to me for some reason. Except for now, because it's 5 a.m. and I've been trying to film this since 3. I'm surprised this hasn't turned into as much of a ramble fest as I expected it to. It just hasn't. I've managed to find something to talk about, I guess. Yeah. So road trip, we said that. The game, we've talked about that. I tried recording Burnout Paradise, but the recording didn't go very well. But yeah, we're heading into some more redwood forests. And this is probably my least favorite part of the track. I know I said earlier was my least favorite part of the track, but this is really where my least favorite part of the track comes in. I cannot stress to you enough how awful some of this future track is, and I'm gonna lose it right here. I'm just gonna go back on track. Now I'm gonna be like miles behind everyone, which is gonna be fun to catch up in the worst section of the track. And it's gonna be 310k that I don't make if I do not finish in first, which is gonna be fun. But I mean, I already finished in first on the last attempt. Funny story about the last attempt. I got my tire stuck on on the central barrier on the finish line, and I was afraid that I was gonna lose it right there. But I managed to not lose it because no one was close enough to catch up, which was fun. Yeah, we're 13 seconds. We need to make 13 seconds up here. That's gonna be quite a difficult time, especially with how I'm driving now and the section we're at. Oh, you think you can overtake me like that? Nah, I'm just gonna cut back and get you back. But yeah, now we're on the other side of the Sierra Nevadas, and we're in Yosemite apparently, which is fun, because Yosemite has redwoods. I mean, we've been in redwoods for a while, but shut up, we're fine. Okay, around this corner, and we've caught another guy. I think we've caught Aaron in the Maserati MC12. Yeah. Gas station in the middle of nowhere with no power lines connecting it. Sounds about right. On a hillside, too. But yeah. One of my favorite things about that trip was the time we spent in what was great. In what was the Donner Pass. If you haven't heard the story about the Donner Pass, go look that up on your own if you want. But yeah, we were in Donner Pass, and we were just on a highway that was in some mountains, and it was a cool view down to the ground. But yeah, I do not think I'm going to be able to come back and win this, unless the AI struggle massively up here. But if they struggle massively up here, that's going to be fun, because then I'll actually be able to come back. But I don't think they're going to be struggling too hard up here. Actually, it appears that third and second are, because I've already caught up to third and second. Oh, and it's immediately sunny. Who's that? Janice is in third. Let's see. My first time doing this race, I got stuck on one of the borders of this bridge, causing me to lose the entire race, even though I had been in first the entire time. And it was really, really fun. Just kidding, it was awful because it was 30 minutes and I just had to reset the race, because I couldn't even finish. Oh, they're in a Jaguar. That's neat. I thought they were in something else. I thought I was going to hit that and repeat my first time doing this track ever. Nope, we're about to be in second if we can catch up to this guy ahead. But we've caught up to the third place, and now we're at least in top 3. With 10% of the race left to go. And Neil is there. We're going to have to pass Neil. And then I think it's Wayne in first. I could be mistaken. But we're catching up thoroughly well. So much for being in first the entire race. That would have been a lot more fun, but less entertaining to watch, I assume. Oh, I almost hit that car. I didn't even see that car. That would have been really bad. But yeah, I think I have the top speed advantage on this guy. Because I hope I do, because once we hit Sacramento, there's like 2 more turns, and then we're stuck. Oh no, it's Glennon first. Once we hit Sacramento, it's 2 more turns, and then we are basically just a straight line to the finish. I'll get Glenn there. Now I'm in first. So I suppose that 15 seconds wasn't too hard to overcome after all, I guess. And then I get stuck on this side of the bridge. And Glenn has gained a lead again. Which I suppose might be bad because there's only 5% left. That's less than 5 miles, I believe. Because I don't think this track is 100 miles. But Glenn has gotten into reach again. Until I did that. Now we're in 4th place again with 5th place. With not too long to go. This could end really badly. I could not win this. We'll get that spot back. Now past Neil. I guess it's not too bad because Glenn is slow. Even on the hardest difficulty, we have just overtaken Glenn. And we are in the lead again. But yeah, this is basically the end of the race. Yeah, the last checkpoint. That's not good, that's not good, that's not good. And now I'm way back here. So yeah, I'm just not going to win this. It's going to be great. Very anticlimactic. You're going to have sat through this whole thing, and I'm not going to have won it. Unless I can make something incredible happen here. And catch up like 10 seconds in the last 2 miles. But I don't think I'm going to be able to. Past this racetrack. Yeah, it's just a straightaway to the finish. Oh, it looks like I actually am catching these guys because they're fighting. And catch up and whatnot. But they're fighting. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And we've done it! We're in first. And then we hit a car. No, nope. And then I finish in second. Fantastic. Great. Great. I knew that was going to happen. I knew exactly what that was going to happen. Hey, still got 63k. And last time I won, so it's fine that I didn't this time, I guess. It's a shame though, because I'm not going to get any parts for winning, which you normally do. But yeah, that is great that I wasn't able to win there. But yeah, heading in and out of races is literally that easy. Anyways, though, that has basically been it from me. I know I lost that. I should try and win it again, but I'm tired. That has been it from me. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Remember to like, subscribe, comment down below. Stay hydrated. And I hit a sailboat there. Great, I hit a sailboat there. That's funny. Anyways, that's been it from me. Like, subscribe, comment. Hope you guys have enjoyed. And peace. Man, that looks cool. Alright, and yeah, this is the end card. I don't have any music for this or any plans for what I'm going to do here, but yeah, this is the end card. On the bottom left is a video you might like, on the bottom right is my most recent video, and top right you can like and subscribe if you want to see more.